Hello, my loves. Were you groomed to accept abuse? Any kind of abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse? Did you have someone in your life that taught you that you weren't good enough? Were your instincts broken? Have you struggled to have good, solid relationships your entire life? Do you have anxiety? Do you have depression? Do you struggle to get through the days without feeling worthy of anything? I did. And I learned that through my healing journey, I was groomed from infancy to accept abuse, physical abuse, molestation. There's certain words that we can't say on YouTube because they're too triggering. So I will just leave it at molestation. I was molested my entire life. I don't remember when it started because I don't think I was old enough to have cognitive memory. So for me, it just was in my body. It was in my soul. I was groomed to accept being treated awful. And as a result, I grew up with depression and anxiety. I grew up promiscuous. I grew up allowing people to have parts of me that should have been saved for people that truly loved and respected me. But when you're groomed at that young of an age, you don't get it. You don't know. You don't know how to protect yourself because the people that should have taught you are the people that, in fact, took it from you. So when I say my instincts were broken, they were. I never had instincts. I never knew what it felt like to be treated kindly. I never understood what it felt like to have autonomy in my own body. And so I allowed others to treat my body horribly. I didn't treat my body well. I've been so mean to myself my entire life. My worthy wounds have been so deep that it took me to go on this deep healing journey to figure out what in the world has been wrong with me all these years. And as a result, I discovered that I was groomed. This isn't something that we talk about, not in books, not in movies, because if we talked about it, then groomers wouldn't get away with it. So we just allow these things to continue to happen and we don't understand them. And so for me, I had to go on to a deep journey of understanding what grooming was to heal myself because I was tired of living in a body that didn't feel like my own. I was tired of going day by day and feeling like I wasn't worthy of anything. And what happens when you're groomed is that your instincts are broken. There are 3 ways that our body communicates with us. Our instincts, which are down here in our sacral chakra area, our heart, and our mind. And when we're groomed to accept molestation or abuse, our instincts are taken from us. They have to be. Otherwise, you would go insane. And so when your instincts are taken from you, you become weak in the world. And other groomers smell it on you. And so you attract these people that take advantage of the fact that you don't know better. And your mind tells you horrible things because you feel so unworthy, because things have been done to you that are so painful, so unbelievably sickening that you just can't even believe it's true. It took me years and years to accept it. And the moment that my body reminded me of what had happened, it all made sense to me. It all locked into place, and I understood finally why I never felt safe in my own body. Because I've never been taught to feel safe in my own body. The things that I should have known, the things that I should have been afraid of, in fact, felt natural and normal. And so I allowed things to happen to my body. And then I felt guilt and I felt shame. And I allowed people into my life that used those things against me because I didn't realize the wonderful person that I was. I didn't realize that I deserved to be treated with kindness. I didn't realize that I deserved to be treated the way that I was treating others. And I gave and I gave and I gave to people because I wanted people to love me back. But the problem is when you're groomed, you're not picking the right people. And those people will use you for their benefit until there's nothing left to give. And so I feel very, very called to talk about grooming. I'm writing a book on my experience from childhood because I want people to understand that grooming is at the crux of a lot of people's anxiety and depression and suicidal ideation. I tried to take my life several times as a child, as a teenager, because I didn't feel like I was worthy in this world. I didn't feel like I had a place in this world. I felt like it would be better without me in it because I was so in pain in my own body, because I never had the right to have my own body. That was taken from me. So if you can relate to any of these things, perhaps you've been groomed as well. Grooming can happen at any time. For me, it happened young. I don't remember ever feeling safe in my body. I was promiscuous at an age where I shouldn't have even known what those things were. My dolls played inappropriate games. I was read inappropriate books as a child about those things, about human development and about intercourse. I have to be careful about what I say. It's ridiculous, but I do. And so these things then became natural at an age where they shouldn't have been. And when you go out into the world with a sense of promiscuity, then people read it on you and they smell it on you and they take it advantage. And that's how people like Jeffrey Epstein get away with it. That's how this world has been set up for these groomers, because we, as the groomed, don't know how to protect ourselves. We weren't taught that. And so if you know how to protect yourself, if you can look at other people and say, oh my goodness, I can't even imagine, then good for you, because you learned safety in your own body. And that's a beautiful thing. I had to learn that at the ripe age of 50. I had to learn to be safe in my own body. I had to learn how to heal myself. And so now I want to help other people heal, because it is possible. I now live a life of joy. I now have control over who has access to me. I now can see the red flags. My gut now makes sense to me when it feels like there's an animal trying to crawl its way out. It's telling me something. And so I have to listen. And my heart, my beautiful heart, oh, it just wants to love everyone. Unfortunately, not everyone is worthy of love. And if these groomers walked around with devil masks on, if these groomers walked around looking like evil, then they wouldn't get away with what they get away with. So these groomers are the people that are in our everyday lives. They're the charming people. They're the ones that invite your children over for dinner. They're the ones sometimes that run our churches or are the coaches of the teams. They are in our schools. They are in our workplaces. They are out there knowing what they're doing, finding access. And when you're groomed, you are easily accessible. And so this cycle happens where you just allow yourself to be damaged over and over and over again. And then they leave. And then they leave when they're done. They leave when there's nothing left to take and you feel abandoned. And so those are some of the things that I've had to deal with. I had to deal with abandonment issues. I had to deal with boundaries because I had none. And I was fortunate enough to have found a therapist that understood that right from the get-go. And so in the last couple of years, I have learned that I don't need anybody. I need myself. And as long as she is here, as long as I am happy, as long as I feel safe, then no one can hurt me. And so I have good boundaries in place. And if it doesn't feel right, I don't allow it. I don't make excuses for bad behavior anymore. But it took a long time to get there. It took many days on the floor. It took holidays alone where I felt abandoned. It took allowing myself to be in awful situations with dating that I never imagined I would do. And through those processes, I learned how to care for myself. I dove into my inner child. I microdosed to get new brain transmissions going. I have meditated. I found God. Oh, I found God in such a beautiful way. And to know that I'm one of his children and I'm protected by him has given me such joy. And so, if you don't have God in your life, or if you weren't allowed to have God in your life, it is possible that somebody kept that from you for their own benefit. I mean, ask yourself these questions. Do you know how to love yourself? Are the people that you're around loving you the way that you love them back? Do you have anxiety? Do you have depression? Are you promiscuous? Do you feel like your body should be given to other people and that they don't have to do much to get it? These are all things that happen to people that are groomed. But you can heal yourself. You can. And it takes work and it takes time. But it is possible. But first, you have to understand what grooming is. And then you have to understand how to get out of it and how to protect yourself and how to love your inner child and how to go back to those days where things were dark and to change the situation. I go back often and I bring my little child out of that room that was so scary. I take her out of the situations that hurt her so badly and I tell her she's safe now, that we made it through, that we're on the other side and we've done it and we're here to help other people get on the other side too. And so even if it's just one person that I'm helping, that's enough for me, because I would have loved to have had somebody help me understand what grooming is. And it wasn't until I started writing my book to kind of understand, like, how did I get in this situation of being alone and not feeling autonomy in my body and allowing really bad situations to happen to me? Like, what is happening? I'm intelligent and I'm successful, and yet I'm allowing awful people into my life. And it wasn't until I started using the right terminology. I was groomed. I was groomed to accept abuse from the people that should have taught me to love myself. It happens all the time, folks. And it's time for us to break this cycle and to take back our lives. And so if you feel like you were groomed, if you feel like you're not worthy of love, if you feel abandonment and that your boundaries are porous, then you should probably start to analyze what was taken from you. And you can get back there. I promise you, you can. So please reach out to me. I'm going to continue to do these videos. I know that there are people out there that do not like that I'm making these videos, and I don't care. Your time is up. You've taken enough from me. I will no longer allow anyone to take my happiness. I am here to spread love and light. I am here to help other people walk home and find their way to faith. So if this inspires you, please like and subscribe so I can talk to more people. Please reach out to me if any of this is resonating with you, and let's heal each other. Let's walk each other home. It's a beautiful time to be alive. Don't get caught up by the scariness of the groomers. They're out there. They're running this country, and they want us to be frightened. They don't want us to feel safe in our body, because when we all come together, us givers, us light bringers, they can't win. So like and subscribe and get out there and spread your light with no fear, just flow with faith. You are God's favorite, and you are so worthy of love. We all are.